You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, B&B fans. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt. And if you're current on this week's episodes, you have heard Steffy Forrester advise her big brother Thomas to take Douglas Forrester and leave LA. I mean, heck, she told him to leave the US altogether and go to Paris so he can find some peace of mind. But will Thomas actually do it? Will he take his and Hope's son and leave the country? Maybe. We're going to dig in and reveal several reasons that he might cut bait and run from Hope Logan. But first, please click subscribe if you haven't. So let's dig into this. So we saw Thomas insisting to Steffy that, Hope really isn't the problem. And he does understand he may have made some missteps. He's still kind of low-key defending her, but his sister Steffy is not going to let him blame himself at all. It seems like 100% of her blame focus is on her ex-stepsister Hope. And at the same time that Steffy is telling Thomas to dump her, Hope was complaining to Brooke and Ridge about Steffy's antics against her. And of course, Ridge Forrester didn't want to listen to any of that. And he kind of laid into Hope, low-key accusing her of stringing his son along. Brooke Logan doesn't like the way he talked to her daughter. Hope defended herself and said she knew she and Thomas could get past this little speed bump in their relationship if only Steffy would butt out. Except Steffy never butts out, and she is not gonna start now. Steffy thinks her brother needs to run away ASAP before he puts his stability and his mental health at risk by staying with a woman who, according to his sister, does not care about him and is using him. In July, by the way, it's going to be a year since Hope made the move to make Thomas her guy, despite still being married to Liam Spencer when she decided to grab Thomas and give him that big kiss in Rome. That started all of it. Pretty much since they got back from Rome to LA after a brief breakup conversation with Liam, since then she's been all about Thomas. But it is also natural for someone to want to process the end of their marriage, even if they were the one that lit the match and blew it up. So now let's talk about the 3 reasons I think Thomas might actually leave town with their son Douglas, just based on upcoming confirmed spoilers. So the first reason is that Thomas has this life-changing decision. So the first spoiler I want to dig into happens on Tuesday, March 26th, and Thomas makes this life-altering, life-changing decision, and it shocks Hope. Initially, I have to admit, I thought this was simply going to be about Thomas saying he wants to break up with her. However, given the most recent episodes, I think Hope is expecting him to break up with her, and she's probably planning on fighting that, right? But based on spoilers for later this week, I feel even more strongly that the shocker is that Thomas not only decides to break up with her, but to make it a clean break, maybe doing what Steffy said and going to Paris to just get over this and get his mind right. And he wants to take their son with him. And yes, I have no doubt that will hit Hope like a 1-2 punch. We heard Steffy making the case for Thomas to leave and go with Douglas on Monday, and it looks like their chat continues on Tuesday. Honestly, I expect more repeat dialogue. You know how they do, because the spoilers for Tuesday pretty much were words we already heard on Monday. So I think we already heard most of the critical stuff, but I think they're going to just rehash it on Tuesday. So the second reason that I think he might go is a spoiler for Thursday. So there's actually a couple of spoilers, one for Wednesday, one for Thursday, March 27th and the 28th. On Wednesday, Brooke and Steffy have a vicious argument about Thomas and Hope. And of course, Brooke is going to be Team Hope, and she doesn't think her daughter did one thing wrong, not at all. She resents the accusations being slung at her perfect daughter, Hope, by Steffy and Ridge. And after Brooke and Steffy have their big old fight on Wednesday, then a Thursday spoiler says Steffy is happy that she got what she wanted. And yes, she did want him to break up with Hope, but she also really wanted Thomas to leave town so he would be out of Hope's clutches. I'm saying this is Steffy's perspective, not mine as a viewer. She wants Thomas away from Hope so Hope can't cry and bat her eyelashes at him and beg for another chance, because Steffy knows, yeah, of course, Thomas would give it to her, and she just thinks that's prolonging the inevitable, and the best thing is for them just to break up now before it gets worse. So the third reason I think he might leave is the spoiler about Douglas. So this definitely has me thinking maybe Thomas is ready to leave town. So on Thursday, the 28th, is when Thomas and Hope talk about a decision that was made with their son Douglas. And I'm guessing Douglas is upset for a couple of reasons if Thomas has made this big decision to go. The first, of course, his parents are no longer dating, and he was having all these fantasies about them being a forever family. And the second is he'd probably be upset to leave LA at all. No doubt Douglas wouldn't want to be away from Hope, the only mother that he knows. So we'll have to see how this goes. But I also expect Hope might agree that Thomas can take Douglas with him, because she's decided to be strategic and play a long game against Steffy. Because if not for Steffy, Thomas would stick around LA, and Hope could probably talk him into putting this whole proposal disaster behind them and moving forward with their relationship without a ring on her finger. But with that Paris suggestion on the table as of Monday, March 25th, to me, it shines a whole new light on this week's spoilers, and I really do wonder if Thomas is going to leave town with Douglas. It seems likely. Again, I don't think Thomas and Hope are over for good, even if he leaves town. This Paris thing, honestly, could be a way to take Thomas off screen, allowing other storylines to move to the front burner, and then they get a big reunion, maybe in May sweeps. I mean, they might even do one of those big dramatic European reunions, like with Finn and Steffy's big reveal that he was alive that happened in Monte Carlo in 2022, if you remember. So maybe we'll get something like that for Thomas and Hope, only it would happen in Paris. Or maybe he comes back and it's a dramatic homecoming if they don't do a remote shoot. But I'm certain that the action is about to move back. The focus is about to move back to RJ, Luna, the lunacy of who's the daddy, and the mint mess. I mean, they can really only fit about 2 stories on the front burner on Bold and the Beautiful because of that 30-minute format, which is only like 15 to 17 minutes of actual showtime. And we also have more of the ongoing hallucination stuff with Finn about Sheila to come. So there's just not a lot of room front and center right now. So Thomas's exit might be to let us bring those other stories forward, wrap them up, and then push them back out of the way in time for May sweeps, which starts on April 22nd. That's everything I have for Thomas's upcoming possible exit out of LA heading to France. Please click subscribe if you have not already, and definitely come back soon, because we are here talking B&B 7 days a week on your #1 most followed YouTube soap opera channel. And as always, this is Belinda, your host from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.